golden lotus flower grows. In the middle of that lotus is a golden place surrounded by 8 petals. On these 8 petals, the 8 principal gopis reside. And in the center, Lord Shyamasundar and his beautiful Srimati Radharani sit on a jewel throne. The great beauty of the divine couple and their charming joking and laughter continually showers nectar everywhere. Narottam Das Thakur says, I pray that these beautiful, blissful, eternal, transcendental passions of the divine couple may be always manifested in my heart. So if some devotee could hold the phone while I'm chanting, that'll be helpful. Okay. Vrindavan Ramya Sthana Divya Chintamani Dhama Ratana Mandira Manohara Sthana Divya Chintamani Dhama Ratana Mandira Manohara. Okay, forget it. Vrindavan Ramya Sthan Divya Chintamani Dham.
Vrindavan Ramya Sthan Divya Chintamani Dham.
Ratana Mandira Manohara. Ratana Mandira Manohara. Abhrita Kalindi re Raja Hamsa Keli Kare.
Amrita Kalindi Raja Hamsa Keli Kare.
Tahe Shobhe Kanaka Kama. Shobe kana kama tar madhye hima pitha ashtadale bheshita. Ashtadale pradhana nayika.
Ashtadale pradhana nayika.
Ashtadale pradhana nayika.
Ashtadale
तार मध्य रत्नासने बासिया चेंद्रे जने. श्याम संगे Sundari Radhika.
Shyam Sange Sundari Radhika.
Shama Sange Sundari Radhika.
Shyam
और पारा बंधवासी हमें अपरिचित आस्ते और पाला बन्या राष्ट्री हमें अपरिचित आस्ते और पाला बन्या राष्ट्री हमें अपरिचित आस्ते परिहास संभाषणे हस्य परिहास संभाषणे जय श्री श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय, श्री कृष्ण रस यात्रा महामहोत्सव की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 33, text number 3. 33.3. Could I have the book, please? The Bhagavatam was out there, right? On the display table? What? 10:33.3. 3. Or you can just say class on Sri Krishna Rasa Yatra. Can you do this thing? This table? Open it up. Okay, so we'll just start. Tai, you can just go for the word to word, please. Okay. Rasa Utsavaha Sampravrittaha Gopi Mandala Manditaha Yoga Ishvarena Krishnena Tasam Madhye Dvayoho. Okay, so we'll just read the first verse and I could just do the second verse on my own, okay? Rasotsava sampravritto Gopi Mandala Manditaha Yogeshwarena Krishnena Tasam Madhye Dvayoho Rasotsava sampravritto Gopi Mandala Manditaha Yogeshwarena Krishnena Tasam Madhye Dvayoho Rasotsava sampravritto Gopi Mandala Manditaha Yogeshwarena Krishnena Tasam Madhye Dvayoho Rasotsava sampravritto गोपीमण्डलमण्डितः योगेश्वरेण कृष्णेन तासां मध्ये द्वयोर्द्वयोः. Okay, please chant.
Rasotsava sampravito Vimandala Mandita Yogeshwarena Krishnena Tasamadhe Dvayo Rasotsava sampravito Vimandala Mandita Yogeshwarena Krishnena Tasamadhe Dvayo Rasotsava sampravito Vimandala Mandita Yogeshwarena Krishnena Tasamadhe Dvayo
Rasotsava sampravritto Vimandala Manditaha Yogeshwarena Krishnena Samadhi Dvayo
Rasotsava sampravito Vimandala Mandita Yogeshwarena Krishnena Tasamadhe Dvayo.
Anyone else? Madhijis, please. So sava sampravritto Yogeshwarena Krishnena. Want to try, Madhiji? Please go ahead. Manditaha Yogeshwarena Krishnena. Okay. प्रविष्ठेन गृहीतानां खण्टे स्वानिकितं स्त्रियः यम्मन्येरन्नभस्तावत् विमानाशतशङ्कुलं दिवौकसां सधाराणाम् औतु सुख्यापहृतात्मनां Rasa of the rasa dance. Utsavaha, the festivity. Sampravrittaha, commenced. Gopi Mandala, by the circle of the gopis. Manditaha, decorated. Yoga, of mystic power. Ishvarena, by the supreme controller. Krishnena, Lord Krishna. Tasam, of them. Madhye, within the midst. Dvayoho, between each pair. Translation. The festive rasa dance commenced with the gopis arrayed in a circle. Lord Krishna expanded himself and entered between each pair of gopis, and that master of mystic power placed his arms around their necks, and each girl thought he was standing next to her alone. The demigods and their wives were overwhelmed with eagerness to witness the rasa dance, and they soon crowded the sky with their hundreds of celestial airplanes. Purport. Srila Bilva Mangala Thakur has written the following verse about the rasa dance. Anganam antara madhavo madhavam. I'm sure there's a meter to singing this. Chantarenanganaha ittam akalpite mandala madhyaga sango venuna devaki nandanaha. Lord Madhava was situated between each pair of gopis, and a gopi was situated between each pair of his manifestations. And Sri Krishna, the son of Devaki, also appeared in the middle of the circle, playing upon his flute and singing. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur points out that the gopis, maddened by love, were unable to understand Sri Krishna, that Sri Krishna had expanded himself so that he could personally dance with each of them. Each gopi saw one manifestation of Krishna. The demigods and their wives, however, could see all his different manifestations as they watched the rasa dance from their airplanes, and thus they were completely astonished. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapatam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadam Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utafpada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vatam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvatamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarabhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swaminati Namine Vrajajana Rasa Vedi Prachita Shri Jayashri Sahaparikara Gaurang Rankita Swanta Bhumihi Bhuvana Vidita Tirtha Stoma Kirter Vitayi Bhuvi Jayati Vikaso Bhakti Purvo Yatindraha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminati Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshatarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vagisha Yasya Vadane Lakshmi Yasya Chavakshisi Yasyasya Hridaye Samvitam Nrsimhamaham Bhaje Yasya Deve Para Bhakti Yata Deve Tata Guru Tasyaite Katita Hyarta Prakashante Mahatmanaha Mukham Karti Vachalam Pangum Langaite Girim Yat Kripata Maham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Parmananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So we're reading this verse describing the rasa dance of Krishna's the rasa dance of Krishna and the gopis, and this is the topmost this is the topmost realm that a particular devotee may want to enter, and this is what Lord Chaitanya comes to offer us, and this is the highest thing. But before we enter into this, we need to understand the qualification to enter into this. One of the qualifications, Tyrese, you might as well just stand up right now. One of the qualifications, that is needed is that we need to be completely freed from material desires. In order to enter into the ecstatic rasarila of Krishna, we need to be completely free of material desires. We need to be free of what is known as Purusha Abhiman, or which means that the mentality of trying to be the male, trying to be the predominator. In Vrindavan, there's only one male, and that male is Krishna. And everyone else is Prakriti. Everyone else is meant to serve him. Everyone. As long as we're in this conception that we are, that we are, and by male, what does it mean? That does it mean that Lord Balram and all of them are not transcendental? No, they're all, that male is also there. But they're all meant to serve Krishna. The cowherd boys, Nanda Maharaj, all of them are simply meant to serve Krishna. Krishna is the only Purusha and everyone else is Prakriti. But as long as everyone in this material world is trying to dominate and trying to be Purusha, trying to be the enjoyer of Krishna's internal potency, they will suffer in this material world. That is the nature, that's the way that Krishna designed. That yes, you can try to be the Purusha and you can try to enjoy, but when you enjoy, there is a certain price that you have to pay. It doesn't come free. No matter what we're enjoying in this world, it doesn't come free. The minute we try to enjoy matter, the minute we try to enjoy something belonging to Krishna and try to make it our own property, we will suffer in this material world. That is the nature of this. Why? Because everything in this world is simply meant for the enjoyment of Krishna. That every object in this material world is meant to be enjoyed by Krishna. Because Krishna is the only seer and we are the seen. We have to understand this point very clearly. Siddhanta balya chitte nakaro alas hiya haite Krishna lagi sudri damanas. Should not be lazy in understanding the Siddhanta. We should be very enthusiastic to understanding this point. That we are not the seers, but we are to be seen by Krishna. That Krishna is the enjoyer of all things of this material world. And that's why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur called this Drik Drishya Vichar. That a person must try to understand everything properly according to this proper conception, which is understanding who is really the seer and who is really the seen. who is really the seer and who is really the seen. As long as we are walking around this world thinking we are the seers, everything that we are doing, is meant for our enjoyment. Everything that we are seeing is meant for our enjoyment. We will be stuck in this material world. We will be stuck in this material world. And we will be entangled in it. Why? Because everything comes with a price tag. You have to pay a certain price. Everything comes with a price tag. It's not like you can just get anything. There's nothing free in this material world, actually. That's why I learned this from Mahotsaha Prabhu. He says, ain't no such thing as a free lunch. Because there's strings attached. For everything in this material world, there's strings attached. That, strings are attached, and some strings are like pretty grossly visible. And most of the strings are actually subtly visible, are actually subtle and not visible to our eyes. There's most of the strings that are attached to this material world are all subtle. Why? Because the laws of karma are subtle, right? You don't really see what's going on. You don't understand. You don't really see that, oh wow, okay, we are suffering like this because I did this in my past life, or I'm doing this, therefore a reaction is going to take place. We can understand, but we cannot see it with our own eyes. But everything in this material world has a price tag. Everything in this material world has a price tag. We may try to do this or that, and the main thing which people are trying to enjoy in this material world, which is a perverted reflection. So this is Krishna's most internal, intimate pastime that he has with his very intimate devotees. You see, it's a very intimate thing, and this very intimate thing is a very intimate pastime that people have, and that Krishna has. And when someone tries to imitate these pastimes of Krishna, you can join your friend in standing up too, Jacob. When someone tries to imitate these pastimes of Krishna in this material world, then they will have to pay the price for it. That it may seem so nice. Wow, it's so nice. You see, we should do everything which God wants. We should do everything which God is doing. Ultimately, He made this world for us to enjoy. Okay, really, try to enjoy, and then see what happens. Try to enjoy and see what happens. Many people think, oh, we are so intelligent. Oh, we can, we can figure everything out. We can have these great philosophies. We can do this and we can do that. They think of so many things that they come up with so many philosophies. But they're simply like intellectual donkeys. Like the donkeys also, they think that they're very intellectual. That, oh, wow, I'm sitting here and I'm philosophizing. You see what donkeys do? They sit and they philosophize most of the time. They sit and, sometimes one donkey sits and he's braying. He's braying, making the braying sound. Hee-haw, hee-haw. He's braying like that. And there's other donkeys who are sitting around him thinking, wow, this is such an amazing guy. What an amazing speech this guy has given. And all the other donkeys, they clap and they they think, wow. No, they don't clap, but they feel like, wow, this guy, he's a real thing, Like this, you have so many intellectual donkeys who come about. And they try to study the rasa dance of Krishna. They try to materialize it. They try to, you may fall on the floor if you continue like that. Maybe you took a chadar off, you'll stay awake. So so many intellectual mundane scholars, they try to take Krishna's Rasa Leela. They try to take Krishna's Rasa Leela and they compare it to like the ordinary dealings, like cheap market gossip, or like cheap ordinary dealings between a boy and a girl in this material world. And they think that, oh yeah, just like this, just like, I was with my girlfriend last night. Krishna had many girlfriends and he's with them. But it's more or less the same thing. Therefore, what, let me try to compete with Krishna. Let me try to compete with Krishna. And let me also have the rasa dance. Let me have the rasa dance. Let me also to go and try to enjoy with as many women as possible. But then what ends up happening is we suffer more and more. We think, wow, we're like the hot stuff at the players. We're going to go around and enjoy and do all these things. And then in order for us to enjoy, we need to work. That's why, it's a very nice comparison given of the materialist being compared to an ass. Why? Because what does an ass do? An ass all day. Like if you see in India, you'll see like a dobiwala, which means washerman, What does he do? He has a donkey, and on a donkey, he has a big load of clothes. It's like this big load of clothes, and then you'll see like 4 legs sticking out. And the donkey is walking forward, and then you realize that the big load is moving because it's on the back of a donkey. And the donkey, the ass, works hard like an ass all day. And then what does it end up getting? Finally, the master gives it a few some grass which is found on the street. But then the donkey is so dumb, he does not realize that, why do I have to work like an ass for this master of mine? I can simply go and eat the grass that's found on the street. Why do I have to he's anyway giving me the same grass. I don't need to work hard like an ass. But he doesn't think like that. He thinks, in order for me to eat, I need to work like an ass. And he works like that. And then, when he meets with his friends and he philosophizes, big intellectual philosophy, and he brays and brays and brays, and then he starts off very enthusiastic, and then after some time he loses enthusiasm, and then he just shuts his mouth, and another donkey starts. And then what does he do? He likes to go and enjoy sex life. And how does a donkey enjoy sex life? He tries to enjoy with a she donkey, but then what does the she donkey do? She kicks him in the face a few times. And the male donkey who can actually bear the kicks of the female donkey is the one who gets to enjoy sex life with her. So therefore, the life of a mundane materialist is compared to an ass. And the life of a person who is imitating the pastimes of Krishna is compared to the life of an ass. Why? Because they have to work so hard to maintain their samsara vasana. They have to work so hard to maintain everything that goes on in their materialistic life. That's why mundaners who are not devotees of Krishna are called grihamedis. And they work so hard to maintain their griha. It may seem like, wow, he's a man, he's doing all these things. But the truth of the situation is, he's dependent upon so many factors for his mundane enjoyment. Krishna doesn't depend on anything for his enjoyment. Krishna's enjoyment is completely transcendental. Whereas our enjoyment in this material world is completely mundane. Everything is completely, unless it's done in the service of Krishna. And we don't enjoy in the service of Krishna. We do service to Krishna for having Krishna enjoy. And when Krishna enjoys, naturally we enjoy. It's a natural byproduct of it. See that, just like a part and parcel of Krishna is there. And then the minute Krishna becomes, let's just say your hand is weak and your head is hurting and all this. What do you end up doing? You end up feeding your stomach. And when the stomach is satisfied, the entire body feels nourished. It's a part and parcel of the whole thing. Similarly, when the root of the tree is nourished, all the leaves are nourished. So similarly, when we satisfy the root of all existence, Krishna, then naturally we are satisfied. And when we go and we give enjoyment to the root of all existence, who is Krishna, naturally we will also feel that bliss. But the problem comes when we try to enjoy separately from Krishna. When we like to have our own rasa dance. And when we try to do such a thing, then we will suffer in this material world. What hope is there? How much can we enjoy? So many people, I'm the man and all these things. But they're suffering in this material world. Yanmaitanadi grihamedi sukham hi tucham. That the so-called enjoyment that the materialist enjoys in sex life is compared to the scratching of an itch. Initially, you scratch an itch is nice. When you keep scratching, what happens? You get blood. So therefore, we should understand that this Rasa Leela of Krishna is only meant for Krishna. It's not meant for any other living entities. And the duty of every living entity is to assist Srimati Radharani in increasing the enjoyment of Krishna's rasa dance. That is the duty of every living entity. It's not to enjoy this material world separately from Krishna, but it's to actually understand that Krishna is the center. And we are all revolving, everything we're doing revolves around the satisfaction of Krishna. That is our constitutional position. But when we try to overstep the boundaries, when we try to overstep this boundary and we try to enjoy separately from Krishna, we pay this big toll. You're going from one place to another. When you're entering New York, how much of a toll we have to pay, such a big toll. When you're driving into New York, the toll price is so high. But illusion tolls, Prabhupada says, he's to his spiritual master, forgotten Krishna as fallen souls, paying most heavily illusion tolls. We're forgetting Krishna and we're trying to enjoy this material world. And because we're trying to enjoy this material world, we are paying the heavy tolls of illusion. Heavy tolls of illusion. And it all, and the the epitome of enjoyment in this material world is sex life. But then when that sex life happens, then what happens? Pumsastriya mituni bhavametam tayo raho hridaya granthi mahuhu ato griha kshetra sutapta vitay janasya mohoyam aham mameti. You can pull this up, 558 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Translation. The attraction between male and female is a basic principle of material existence. On the basis of this misconception, which ties together the hearts of the male and the female, one becomes attracted to his body, home, property, children, relatives, and wealth. In this way, one increases life's illusions and thinks in terms of I and mine. So we see, the minute we try to be, like licit or illicit, the minute you try to enjoy the Hladini Shakti of Krishna, there's a big price to pay. When we do it illicitly, there's more price. When we do it illicitly also, there's not so much price to pay. We have to get a big home, we have to get so many rooms, we have to get a car and this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that. It increases and increases and increases. Then the bare necessities of life increase. Why? Because we are trying to take upon that position. That's there. But then when it's done dharmically, then that same place will become Vaikuntha. But if it's done adharmically, dharmically means what? Most like that. How does Rupa Goswami recommend how to do it dharmically? Then 50% of the fruits of our labor goes towards the preaching movement, preaching of Krishna consciousness. 25% goes towards personal expenses, 25% goes towards saving. If we do like this, then we are doing dharmically. If we are chanting our rounds every day, if we are waking up early in the morning every day, if we are hearing Bhagavatam every day, if you're doing all these things, then we are doing it dharmically. When we see so many acharyas, so many of the acharyas, would anyone dare to say that Maharaj Parikshit was actually like trying to play the position of Krishna? No way, they're insane people. What about the Pandavas? What about Maharaj Ambarish? What about Priyavrata? What about Janaka? They are all, if you look at the Mahajans, 7 out of 12 of them are Grihasthas. Bali Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, all of them. They are Grihasthas. It's not like the ashram itself is a problem. But the chance of enjoying is more. The chance of enjoying is more. The facility for enjoyment is more. Therefore, we must be very careful to not mimic the pastimes of Krishna. We should understand that Krishna's pastimes are completely transcendental. And in order for us to enter into the realm of Krishna's pastimes, we need to be freed of material desire. Ar kabe nitai chand karuna hoibe. What's the next line? Samsara basana mor kabe tu chahabe. Then, that the Narottam Das Thakur is praying to Sri Nityananda Prabhu that Ar kabe nitai chand karuna hoibe. When will Lord Nityananda shower his causeless mercy upon me? Because when he showers his causeless mercy upon me, my desires for material enjoyment will be reduced. Ar kabe nitai chand karuna hoibe samsara basana mor kabe tu chahabe. When we realize this, when we understand this, that when will Lord Nityananda shower his causeless mercy upon me? Because when he showers his causeless mercy upon me, then all my material desires will go away. Vishaya chadiya kabe, shuddha habe man, kabe hama herabo Shri Vrindavan. And when that happens, Vishaya chadiya kabe, I will be able to get rid of all my material desires. Vishaya chadiya kabe, shuddha habe man. Then my mind and my heart will become purified. Kabe hama herabo Shri Vrindavan. Then I can actually reside in Shri Vrindavan Dham. Rupa Raghunatha Pade hoibe akuti kabe hama bhuja bose jugala piriti. When that happens, when will I be very eager to study the works of the 6 Goswamis? When will I be very eager to study these books of the 6 Goswamis? Rupa Raghunatha Pade hoibe kabe hama bhuja bose jugala piriti. And then I will be able to absorb myself in the transcendental, blissful pastimes of the divine couple, the divine youthful couple. Jugala piriti. Rupa Raghunatha Pade Rahumora Ash Pratana Karoye Sada Narottama Das. That Narottam Das Thakur is praying that he eternally remains at the lotus feet Shri Rupa, of Rupa Raghunath. He eternally remains at their lotus feet. And that's his prayer. That's his prayer. So, on this auspicious day of Rasa Leela, we should understand our position. We should get rid of the enjoying mentality. The minute we get rid of this enjoying mentality, then we can actually absorb ourselves in the internal potency of Krishna. Then we will actually be sheltered by the internal potency of Krishna. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mahatmanas sumam partha daivim prakritim ashataha bhajanti manaso gyatva bhutadam avyayam. Then, who's a Mahatma? Not some political leader who may have fought for some country's independence. He is not a Mahatma. Who is a Mahatma? Mahatmanas sumam partha daivim prakritim ashataha. A person who is taking shelter of Daivi Prakriti. He is actually a Mahatma. And what is the symptom of such a Mahatma? Satatam kirtayanto mam yatanchasya dridavrataha namasyantasya mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. That he is always, Satatam kirtayanto mam, he is always doing kirtan of me. He is always glorifying me. Satatam kirtayanto mam. And how is he doing? Yatanchasya dridavrataha. He is doing it with firm determination. Namasyantasya mam bhaktya. He's always offering obeisances to me and my devotees. Nitya yukta upasate. He's always doing this. Nitya yukta upasate. He's always doing upasana. He's always worshipping me. And how do we worship Krishna? There's 9, it doesn't mean we're distributing books all the time or we're doing a fired up kirtan all the time. But no, we're absorbing ourselves in the 9 processes of devotional service. Beginning with, that's right, what's the one after that? Then, Smaram. Then, Atma Nivedana. So these 9 processes are there. These 9 processes of devotional service. But it always starts with hearing the message. It always starts with hearing the message. When we hear the bona fide message of the Absolute Truth, then our misconceptions will be smashed. When we hear the message of the Absolute Truth, then our kirtan will actually have potency. Otherwise, remembrance of Krishna will be very hard. Therefore, we need to hear the message of Krishna very, very seriously, very, very diligently. We need to hear this message. And when we do like this, when we are absorbing ourselves in this 9 processes of devotional service, then we can, actually become Krishna conscious. When we perform these 9 aspects of devotional service. What's this verse of describing Ambarish Maharaj? He speaks about how he's always absorbed in the 9 processes of devotional service. It's slipping my mind right now. Anyone remember that verse? It starts off with Vaikunta Gunanu Varane. Just look up Gunanu Varnane. Look that up. Gunanu Varnane. G-U Guna N-A-N-U Gunanu Varnane. Yes, all one word. Savai mana Krishna Padaravindayo Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanu Varnane. Give me your phone, please. What's the verse number?
9:4:18.
9:4:18. Savai mana Krishna Padaravindayo Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanu Varnane. Karo Harer Mandira Marjanadishu Shrutim Chakara Chitasat Kathodhaye Mukunda Linga Laya Darshane Drishau Tadvritya Gatra Sprashanga Sangamam Grahanam Chatat Pada Saroja Saurabhe Srimad Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite Pado Hare Kshetra Padanu Sarpane Shiro Rishikesha Padabhivandane Kamam Chadashe Natukama Kamyaya Yatottama Shloka Janashrayaratihi. Such a beautiful verse. Maharaj Ambarish always engaged his mind in meditating upon the lotus feet of Krishna. His words in describing the glories of the Lord, his hands in cleansing the Lord's temple, and his ears in hearing the words spoken by Krishna or about Krishna. He engaged his eyes in seeing the deity of Krishna. Krishna's temples and Krishna's palaces like Mathura and Vrindavan. He engaged his sense of touch in touching the bodies of the Lord's devotees. He engaged his sense of smell in smelling the fragrance of tulsi offered to the Lord. He engaged his tongue in tasting the Lord's prasad. He engaged his legs in walking to the holy places and temples of the Lord, his head in bowing down before the Lord, and all his desires in serving the Lord 24 hours a day. Indeed, Maharaj Ambarish never desired anything for his own sense gratification. He engaged all his senses in devotional service, in various ways, engagements related to the Lord. This is the way to increase attachment for the Lord and be completely free from all material desires. So this is the way. We have to be freed from all material desires. And we can think, oh, Prabhuji, I don't have time. I don't have time to do devotional service. I don't have time to chant my rounds. I don't have time to hear Bhagavatam. I don't have time. But Maharaj Ambarish had time. Are we more busy than Maharaj Ambarish? He's the emperor of the whole world. He had time. So why don't we make time for Krishna? It's simply nonsense. It's simply out of envy of Krishna that we don't want to take the Krishna consciousness seriously. Many people come to a sadhu, oh Sadhuji, please bless me. But what is the blessing for? So that I can live my material life comfortably. But that is not what sadhus are meant for. The sadhus are meant to cut our misconceptions. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur compares sadhus to a person, to a butcher. Just like a goat is bought on the sacrificial altar and the butcher chops off the head of the goat, similarly, the words of the sadhu, the tongue of the sadhu is supposed to be an axe, and that the duty of the tongue of the sadhu is to slay our misconceptions, slay our attachments to this material world. A person who does that, that person is a sadhu. A person who tells you, oh, you're so good, you're so nice, that person is a cheater. The chanter of Hari Katha, the chanter of Hari Kirtan, will never be a flatterer. He will never flatter people. He will tell them what they need to hear. He will tell them what they need to hear. And because of such an attitude, the words of the sadhu may not be so popular. We went to some bogus world cultural convention or something with some bogus guru, a classic, nonsense guy with a big beard and a big smile on his face and doing some world peace conference. But what kind of nonsense is they all come together and they talk about peace and all this stuff? But what kind of nonsense is this? Why? Because they do not even know what the peace formula is. There was so much talk about peace, right? And what were they talking about peace? What were they saying? There was a song. There was literally a song where they had 100 or 1,000 guitar players, right? Yeah, bunch of Telugu homies and trying to look cool but looking really horrible. Telugu homies, all Indian homies, everyone, so many people. They all came together playing a guitar and the chorus of the song, we are one. We are one. Everybody, we are one. And the whole song, it was so stupid. I'm that's your solution for peace? If we are all one, I need all the money in all of your bank accounts right now. Because your bank account and my bank account is the same thing. That much they don't want to apply their philosophy. It's completely bogus. So with this we are one nonsense, how will they ever attain peace? They do not know the peace formula. What is the peace formula? Come on, no one knows this verse 529 of the Bhagavad Gita? That's right. Bhoktaram Jakatapasam Sarvalok. You don't know this one. Oh, caught you. Oh, you knew but you didn't say. We know the verses, but when we have to quote them, we don't know them. That's very amazing. Bhoktaram Jakatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarvabhutanam Gyatva Mam Shantim Richiti. A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifice and austerity, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living, attains peace from the pangs of material existence. If they were to speak this verse at the peace conference and read Prabhupada's purport to this verse, then that conference would not be so big. It would be so few people. But just like the snake philosophy, you know the philosophy of the snake and the hole? So, there's so many living entities who work very hard to make their homes in the ground, like a rat or something, He works very hard to make a home in the ground. And then what does the snake do? Once the rat is done making the home very nicely, the snake comes, eats up the rat and lives in the rat's home. So we also, when these fools and rascals come about with these kinds of foolish ideas, we go to their events and we take advantage of their facilities. That's what we do. And like, oh yeah, it's all love. Oh, it's all love. Then yeah, it's all, we should, we're all, like, love is everything and everything is love. So then you have to love me also. You have to love me. You have to love my philosophy. Oh, we're all inclusive. You have to include me also. You have to include, You have to include us. You have to include our book distribution also. Why you won't include? You have to include, So, we go and we get included. But then what is our duty? Our duty is to exclude them from their material desires. So exclude them from this nonsense. Why? So they can actually understand the Rasa Leela of Krishna. These Mayavadis also talk about Rasa Leela and they talk about so many amazing things. But then their goal is they want to embrace Krishna just like the gopis and and their philosophy is like you will embrace Krishna so tightly that we'll become one with Krishna. That is their philosophy. But in which Shastra does it say that the gopis embrace Krishna so tightly that they entered into Krishna? Nowhere. But that's their love for Krishna. First they say, I am Krishna's, they say like this, and then that's fine. Then they say, Krishna is mine, that's also fine. But then they say, I am Krishna, that's not fine. So this Rasa Leela of Krishna is a very topmost activity, topmost pastime of the Lord. And then the duty of the sadhu is to preach about this. And how really preach about this? Is he going to preach about this by saying, oh, you are so nice, you're so wonderful, everything you're doing so? No. If you want to have entrance into this Rasa Leela, then we actually have to surrender to Krishna. Surrender is not cheap. The Rasa Leela of Krishna is not some cheap market gossip. Like we jump into the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam and then we just read the nectar and we absorb ourselves. It's simply Prakriti Sahajivan. So many people who read the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam and they're having illicit sex at the same time. I personally know a few people, unfortunately. I wish I didn't know them, but I know them, unfortunately. One of our friends from South America, he knows a whole country full of these people. So, not country, but a society full of these people. Country, that would be a little over the top. Okay, a society full of these people. Such nonsense activities go on. Therefore, Krishna consciousness is serious. We have to be serious. We have to be disciplined. If there's no question of discipline, do not expect to go back home, back to Godhead in this life. Oh, Prabhuji, I'm young right now. I will do bhakti later. Now I'll do bhakti later. I'll buy the books later. I'll do this later. But the truth is, they may not be a later. You may die anytime. Anytime you may die. They may not be later. They may not be old age. You may die in the next 1 year. But then you absorb your mind completely in thinking of how you're going to build a house. And then 1 year comes and you die, and then because you're thinking about the house, you become a rat in that house. That is not so desirable. So we should understand this. That if we want to actually take upon Krishna consciousness seriously, we have to do it now. When is the right time to surrender to Krishna? 5 minutes ago. That was the right time to surrender to Krishna. You see? 10 minutes ago, 10 lifetimes ago, 20 million lifetimes ago. That was the right time to surrender to Krishna. We are way too late. So we might as well do it now. We made Krishna wait enough. We made him wait enough. We've attained this human form of life. Labdhva sudulabham idam bahusambhavante manushyam artadam anityam api hadira turnam yatetana patet anumrityu yavan nishreyasaya vishaya kalu sarvatasyat. We've attained this human form of life after many, many births and deaths. So while we have this human form of life, we should do everything in our control to surrender our life to Krishna. It's easy to say Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. We can say that. Everyone can say that. So nice. Where is your Sharanam? Where is your Sharanam? Where is your surrender? How much of our time is for Krishna? How much of our time is for Maya? Let's get real with ourselves. We want to surrender to Krishna. We want to become a pure devotee of Krishna. Then these words. This is medicine actually. This is medicine. Pull this up. Nectar of Instruction. Verse number 8. Syat Krishnama Charitadi Sitapya Vidya Pitopatapta Rasanatsina Rochikanu Kintvadarad Anudinam Khalusai Vajushtad. Pull that up again. So I think it's a word burst before that. Swadvi Kramadhavati Tadgada Moolahantri. Syat Krishnama Charitadi Siddhapya Vidya Pitto Pataptara Sanatsina Rochikanu Kintvadarad Anudinam Kalusaiva Jushtad Swadvi Kramad Bhavati Tadgada Moolahantri. The holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet, like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by jaundice of avidya, ignorance, cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue, and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root. So, this may seem like, oh, it's so bitter, it's so bitter, it's so bitter. When we become purified, then the same thing will become very sweet. If you read the Bhagavatam, this is all Shukadev Goswami. Every verse we are quoting is what the Bhagavatam speaks about. We're not making up some nonsense here. So, a real sadhu will actually try to cure the problem of our heart. The problem of our heart is we're not surrendered enough to Krishna. Therefore, now is the time to do so. And therefore, today being the Rasa dance, is the duty of every living entity to bring as many more living entities forward to add to the Rasa dance of Krishna. We should bring as many living entities as possible to the Rasa dance of Krishna. Golokera Premadhana Harinama Sankirtana. That the great treasure of divine love of Krishna is actually the process of Sankirtan. Harinam Sankirtan, chanting the holy names of Krishna. Our whole goal is to bring everyone into the dancing party of Krishna. That is the whole goal. To bring everyone in. To bring everyone into this dancing party of Krishna. And that is what we call all-inclusive. Everyone is invited to come to Krishna's pastimes after they give up their material desires. So therefore, this needs to be done. That's why there is this beautiful painting of Krishna enjoying the Rasa Leela, and underneath that is Lord Chaitanya doing Sankirtan with his devotees. So, this Sankirtan Yajna, this book distribution which we are doing, is to bring people into the Rasa dance of Krishna. This is the most esoteric thing that a person could actually do with their spiritual life. Especially when all of you are going out there and distributing these stacks of books. You're immediately, when they buy these books, they're immediately put on the platform of Abhidheya, or on the platform of performing service, on the platform of pure devotional service. They're put on that platform. Why? Because they get their books. And most of the people, when they get the whole stack, they distribute it to their friends. And immediately on that platform, they're distributing the fruits of love of God. When we meet someone, we just sell them one or two Bhagavatam sets. Then they take one Bhagavatam for themselves, and they're giving a Bhagavatam to someone else. Can we conceive of the mercy that person is receiving? Can we conceive of it? Dude, you're like a beef-eating, womanizing, intoxicating, rascal, and then all of a sudden, you're distributing the fruit of love of God. And by your activity, very soon, you will be entering into the topmost realm of the spiritual world. This is the most esoteric thing. It's the most esoteric thing. So, let's engage in the Rasa Leela of Krishna. Anyone want to engage in the Rasa Leela of Krishna? Anyone? Yes, so you go and distribute Prabhupada's books. Prabhupada said this book distribution is actually in the mood of the gopis. Nikunjayuno ratikeli siddhya yayalibhir yuktirapekshanya tatrati dakshyad ativallabhasya vande guru shri charanaravindam. What's the translation of this verse? Everyone is chanting it every morning. What's the translation? Who wants to volunteer? Not all at once. Okay. One of you raise your hands and answer. Okay, Tyrese, go for it. I mean, that's a rough and you missed a few. But anyway, it's the thing, Nikunjayuno ratikeli siddhya. The spiritual master is always engaged in making beautiful arrangements for Radha and Krishna and the beautiful kunjas of Vrindavan. He's making all these beautiful arrangements. He's assisting in making these arrangements. Nikunjayuno ratikeli siddhya. Yayalibhir yuktira. And what does he do? Tatrati dakshyat ativallabhasya. He throws down a rope of his instructions. And we hold on to these instructions. And he pulls us out of this material world into the spiritual world. Into the topmost realm of devotional service. So that is who our spiritual master is. Bhrigavati Prabhu shared this amazing... We were talking to Bhrigavati Prabhu yesterday. We called him up, after our book. Don't get envious. we called him up after our book distribution yesterday, and then like Brigupati Prabhu, could you have you suffered like anything? Could you please preach to us? And then and then he just was going on. He was like quoting this, that, and wow, it was amazing, And this he sent me is so amazing. I'll share it with you, and then you can put it up there. Whose phone is mirroring then? Tarish. Sorry, I changed your name on my phone. I'm unable to find you. Okay. There you go. Got it on WhatsApp? Okay. So actually, we are all conditioned souls, so our demand from Krishna to accept us is unreasonable. From my personal point of view, this is Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace, the Savior of the whole world. He says, from my point of view, I think I am so sinful that I cannot even approach Krishna to show me any favor. But I have only one hope. What is that hope? My spiritual master. He is very kind. So some way or other, he is dragging me toward Krishna. That is the only hope. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Guru Krishna, by the mercy of the spiritual master and by the mercy of Krishna, one gets into Krishna consciousness. Narada Muni is our original spiritual master, and he has dragged so many fallen souls towards Krishna. And we are also hoping to be dragged by him through the disciplic succession. Otherwise, if we study our own qualifications, there is none. Rather, I have got so many disqualifications. So the Srila Prabhupada, he's saying like this, So we should engage in the service of the previous acharyas. And there's nothing else they want more than this. Nothing else. They want two things. They want this and they want Daiva Varnashram. These are two things that they want. And if we engage ourselves in these two things, guaranteed we will get their mercy. This is what they're giving us. They're giving us this nectar. It's not like, okay, Prabhupada, I did this, so better give me your mercy. We can't go like that. We do the service and we go in the service of beggars. Prabhupada, please give me your mercy. Guru Maharaj, oh Yatindra, please give me your mercy. And when we think like that, when we have that prayerful mood, when we have that attitude, then we can hope to receive the mercy of the spiritual master and the Guru Parampara. Then they will drag us to the spiritual world. They will drag us back. By ourselves, Yogate vichare kichuna hi pai tomara karuna sar. Karuna na hoile kandiya pranana rakhi bohar. If you examine me, I have no good qualities. Therefore, if I do not receive your mercy, I will simply weep, and I will leave this body. So in the class here, Shri Krishna Rasa Yatra ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Are there any quick questions or comments? Yes. Question online. Wow. Online has entered our class too. They will do online.
Okay. Hare Krishna. So E. Slater says, Pranams Prabhu, and what happens to the devotees who are singers by profession, but in the videos they are clearly dancing with female devotees? In India there are many famous devotees, singers, but in many of their videos it is shown that they dance in the middle of female devotees or actors. It is in Vrindavan. Is that accepted? But although everything seems pure, but dancing with women is just like imitating Krishna, I don't know if that applies to devout professional singers.
Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidim Vina Ekantiki Harer Bhakter Utpataya Eva Kalpate. That, we do not see that our acharyas, we don't see that, maybe these professional singers are feeling great bhav and great ecstasy and all that. But I don't think they are feeling as much bhav and ecstasy as Srila Prabhupada or Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur or Rupa Goswami or Raghunath Das Goswami or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I think they'll agree that their bhav is not as much as Lord Chaitanya's. And we do not have any record of Lord Chaitanya dancing with women or our previous acharyas dancing with women. Their bhav was not so overwhelming that they were dancing with women. So the destination of such people is to enter another womb. Not in the spiritual world, but in the material world. And then after that, what happens? It happens again and again and again. Until and unless they change their mentality of enjoying Krishna's property. Is that okay? All right. Anything else? Yes, Nick?
Hare Krishna. you were mentioning the nine processes of devotional service.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious about this Sakyam, cultivating friendship. It says that Krishna he manifests his qualities with devotees.
Mm-hmm.
So if we are cultivating friendship with devotees, does that also fall in that category of Sakyam?
Yeah, but we should be very careful to not understand the Sakyam as the mundane Sakyam of this material world. Like the mundane friendship of this material world. One devotee was looking at this painting. I was looking at that painting of Krishna, taking, I guess if we can say Krishna is taking bhoga, right? Or, Krishna eating. Oh, then we were just looking at and observing as to all the beautiful transcendental features of the cowherd boys, And one devotee was making this sound he's looking at Krishna saying, "Oh yeah, buddy, I would like some too," and making some kind of stupid thing like that. I told him this is nonsense. This is prakrita rasa. They do not talk like this in the spiritual world. We are not supposed to have our mundane impositions on the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Lord. That there's a particular way that if we don't know, we can just observe from a distance and we can hope that we'll learn in the future. But they do not talk like, "Yeah, buddy, you're looking so cute, man. That looks awesome." They don't talk like that, the spiritual world. So even this friendship is based, it's supposed to be based on Guru, Sadhu and Shastra and Aitihya. Not and of course, according to time and place, there may be a little, things which are different. But it's supposed to be on that platform of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra and Aitihya. For example, when we see Bhakti Vikas Maharaj and Mukundatta Prabhu and Bhrigupati Prabhu and all of them, they're also friends. It's not they're trying to be each other's guru or something. They're also friends. They're also God brothers. But the way they interact, that is pakka.
It's considered devotional service.
Yeah, it's an extension of devotional service, and the way they behave and all is very pakka. The Acharya shows us how to behave. So he also has friends, not he's always the Acharya. Acharya also has friends. But then when he goes and he's with his friends, how does he behave? We understand it like that. So that's an extension of devotional service. Mason, is that okay? Mason, yes.
I just wanted to get better clarification. Oh gosh, I always did it. I'll just tap it. Thank you. I just want to get better clarification on what you're saying, the position of Mahatma. I wrote the Mahatma understands his position in the shelter of Prakriti.
Divine internal potency of Krishna, yeah.
Yeah, and that's seen as I guess, him understanding his position as seen rather than seer, and as enjoyed rather than enjoyer. So that distinction is correct?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. That's all it was. I just had that.
Yeah, you can look at these verses, Bhagavad Gita 9:12 and 9:13. Anything else? Okay, Mataji's? Anything else? Okay, Jai Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki